I have a whole new appreciation for my body. In the past, my body was about how do I look and how do I this and how do I... And then all of a sudden it was like, wow, you can create a human being with your body. I felt like apologizing to myself. I felt like actually apologizing to my body and saying, I'm really sorry for how I've treated you over the years because look what you've done.
Yeah.
Like, look what you've done and I'm really proud of you. Welcome to just another group chat. Hopefully you are used to us by now. Today we have the lovely Han.
Hiya.
And we have the lovely Jessica.
Hi.
So today we're talking about labour and birth. It's going to be fine. We're also on YouTube. So if anybody is listening and actually fancies seeing our mushes, get yourself on YouTube. Hannah, tell us what you did yesterday. Come on.
I was watching it on my big telly, watching the last podcast, Sex and Dominance.
Of yourself?
Screencasted it to my TV and I was watching it. And then my friend came around and I had to turn off.
So you're just there watching yourself on the telly.
Yeah, like a total narcissist.
Amazing. Love it.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be chatting a little bit about birth and labour. So we might delve into the pregnancy side of things, but it's more so about birth and labour. So disclaimer, if you are pregnant...
Didn't worry.
This is not one of them podcasts that you go to for like hypnobirthing and that. We're going to be talking about some unexpected things that we didn't know happened or we've got, so don't worry about it. But if you're remotely nervous, probably don't listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't listen to this and don't watch One Born every minute.
No, don't do that.
I've done that when I was
Did
pregnant
you?
when we first watched One Born every minute.
How did that work out for you?
It was all right, and then there was one where something really bad happened and I hadn't watched it yet, and I went into work and they were like, don't watch last night at all. So I didn't watch it, and I still haven't watched it, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? So birth and labour. Jessica, how many times have you been through that?
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Solid.
I have been through birth and labour once. Hannah?
I've been through it no times.
No times?
Nil point.
So I think it's a good mix.
Yeah.
So first thing I did was asked people were their expectations, I did a little poll, were their expectations met for birth and labour? So do you have an expectation of birth and labour, first of all? What is your expectation? Do you have one?
I don't think I had one. I was very much like, I'm just going to have to see how it goes and how I deal with it. I don't think you can, you can't expect anything in that situation.
So did you not have any expectations whatsoever? You didn't think, oh, it's going to be lovely and I'm going to pick them up and I'm going to this?
No, I definitely didn't think it was going to be lovely. And I definitely looked at it more like, this is going to be horrendous.
Did you think about the nice moments? Did you have any expectations for the nice moments of when the babies were born and being able to hold them and anything like that?
No, I think I was just completely overwhelmed with the thought of giving birth.
The horrible bit.
Yeah, I think that just like consumed us. Like that's all I thought about.
I had expectations, but then I did hypnobirthing, like a tape.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I changed my expectations completely, which I'm very, very glad I did. Because I was like, right, it's going to be awful. It's like a marathon. I was thinking it's going to be awful. And then when I get past the finish line, it's going to be then, it's going to be all wonderful and magical and lovely. And I'm so pleased that I didn't actually continue with that thought process because that's not quite how it works. So I did hypnobirthing and they basically said one of the first things is to expect the unexpected in the hypnobirthing course. And they were talking about how basically every single birth is different and do not have a specific set of expectations because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important.
I thought that I would have like a birthing plan. Everybody talked about like having this plan in place and things. And when I went to see my midwife, she was like, no, we don't do them at all anymore because they'd never work out which way you think it's going to work out.
Oh, no. So I had it was with the hypnobirthing course actually, and I'd wrote a birthing plan out because there was certain things. What she taught in the hypnobirthing course was expect the unexpected, but if you're an anxious person, going into something like giving birth, expecting the unexpected can be really stressful and it doesn't need to be. So although there's certain things that you can put in place that you can request that'll make that easier. So things like dim the lights, things like just little things.
Yeah, things you can control.
Absolutely. That's what she said. What can we control? And let's look at those things. So I did a birthing plan, and I'm very, very, very pleased I did.
Yeah.
Really pleased I did, yeah. It was more, if this doesn't work, do this. If this doesn't work, please encourage me to do this. If this doesn't work, move to the next step, and so on and so forth. But what I'd put in was, if I end up having an emergency section, please can I have a natural section, which I didn't know existed until I did the hypnobirthing course.
Right.
And what that meant was they didn't take the baby away when she was born. They got her out and passed her straight to me over the barrier thing.
Over your intestines.
Pretty much, yeah. So they passed her over and put her straight on me, and that was really important to me. So and then they covered her with towels, and they just let her stay there while the cord was still attached and everything else, and so I'm pleased I did that.
Yeah.
What was Addie doing? Just chilling?
She was screaming.
Was she?
All right. She was screaming. God. And I was crying, going, "Hello, baby."
I didn't cry.
Love you. Just like, get me back in there.
You what?
I didn't cry, and I thought I would. I think it's just like the overwhelming feeling of everything that's just happened. I didn't cry, and I thought I would have been in tears, because watching one born every minute, I cry my eyes out, and I was like, when it's happened to me, I'm just like, oh my God, what has just happened?
There's a lot going on, especially if you're there's a lot going on. You're physically doing things.
Yeah.
Does your body not just go into shock?
I think it depends what the scenario is.
Like if it's vaginal or a C-section.
Well, I was a bit by the time it was a C-section for me, I had emergency section, but you're kind of just lying there awake, just waiting. So you can't feel anything. You can feel pushing and pulling, but you're just waiting.
Sounds like a horror
so
film.
you are a bit like, oh, is everything going all right down there? You know what I mean? Everything okay? Everything grand? I'm wide open and possibly
weather's all right in it.
Yeah, might hemorrhage to death, but it's everything
stop.
grand. No, it's genuinely there's things that you think about that goes through your head. That's a risk. It's a massive risk
in
having a baby.
Though, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a huge thing. It's still very much we've got all the modern medicine and stuff, and it's not like way back when people were giving birth in
fields,
and stuff like that. But it's still,
it's amazing, but it is still scary.
But it's still you're pushing another human being out of your body. I find it fascinating and very alien-esque.
Yeah.
It's not something I plan on doing. Never say never, but never.
Yeah.
But I do find it fascinating, and when you all talk about it here, I'm just like, what? But you actually grew a human being.
Yeah, no, it's mad, isn't it?
In your person, for 9 months after having a good time with whoever you were with. They're little cells swim together, and then 9 months later, bam. And now I look at Addie and I'm just scared.
You made her.
But you made her out of nothing.
That's mad.
And then you pushed her out of your body.
I didn't technically, but yeah, I didn't get that.
What?
I didn't push her out.
But it just still came out, yeah?
She came out with
you got sliced like a flipping salami.
Try to push her out for 38 hours.
Oh my God.
That wasn't fun. So yeah, we'll quickly go through some of the... Everyone loves a birth story, don't they?
Yeah, I love listening to me.
So I asked... Yeah. I'm I asked a couple of things on the poll. We'll go through them. I asked what people were most shocked at during the birth or the labour.
Okay.
Some funny ones here, I thought. The ring of fire. You know what that is.
Yeah.
I didn't get to that point, unfortunately, because I say unfortunately, but
what is the ring of fire?
You explain that.
Because I think of it as a drinking game.
Yeah.
No, it's as the baby's coming out, it's just
everything stretches.
Yes.
Oh, where it's at its most sort of stretched.
Crowning. Is that what they call a crowning? Yeah, it's
oh God, I've got goosebumps.
Oh, does it cross your legs?
It's bad when you have a big poo. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. All right.
Oh God, next one. Once the head was out, both mines shot into the water so fast, everyone was chatting. There you go. Someone was just chatting.
Huh?
So once the head was out, basically someone's baby, the head was out, and then they just shot out into the water. That is quite alien-esque, isn't it?
Very.
Epidural didn't work.
Oh.
That was me. For me, second and third, yeah.
I've
Worked
heard a
with
few
the
of
first,
these.
The
Yeah,
second and third didn't work. Yeah.
So for anyone who isn't familiar with birth and I was going to say treatments, like it's an illness. Birth and what would you say, like pain relief?
Yeah.
What's an epidural?
It's a massive injection that goes into your spine. Is that right? And it's the most uncomfortable thing because you've sat with a massive bump, and I was huge with all of mine, and you've got to lean over,
bend really
right
arch
over.
your back.
You've got to relax your shoulders and have contractions at the same time.
And not move.
And not move.
So then they
because
say
it's so
it's really
dangerous.
important that you do not move an inch while this happens. Bearing in mind, up until this point, you're going, and you can't move, and you're like mooing like a cow, and you're doing all sorts of stuff, and then they go sit really still for 2 minutes. Honestly, it was at one point for me, I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm staying still. They've asked me to stay still, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm staying still, but I'm also having a contraction. It was mad.
For me, it was a bloke that was doing it. And I just kept thinking, you have no idea, like in my head. Because he kept touching my shoulders saying, relax your shoulders, relax your shoulders. And I had the gas and the thing in my mouth, and I was thinking in my head, don't touch me. Like, stop saying that to me. And I was just like, I could feel myself like totally, I don't know how anybody can relax while they're having a contraction.
Yeah.
But in your head, you're thinking, if I don't relax, this could go like really wrong.
So.
Yeah.
There's a couple of others. How much getting my waters broke hurt, and how little pushing hurt with an epidural. Everyone's different. See, my waters broke and it didn't hurt at all. This is what I'm saying. Like, you never know. Just don't have the expectations. Go in with an open mind.
Yeah.
If you are pregnant, just go in with an open mind. If you are pregnant, don't listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
No, there might be some interesting things.
No, there will. I've got some really cool
There will.
bits.
Someone else talked about after birth that if you need stitches, they'll inject you in the full area to numb you. Yeah. And that obviously is really sore, having an injection in that area after you've just been through all of that.
Days.
Yeah.
Oh, in your vagina.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
In your vagina and round that whole entire area.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I had that as well.
Yeah.
When we first.
Superwomen.
And there's one that says the feeling that you when you realise you've just pushed a teeny human out your vajayjay.
Yeah.
Like an actual human
Do
being.
you know another thing as well that I didn't realise the first time I went in, that after you've give birth and you're all like got your baby and you think, oh my God, this is all over, you've then got to give birth to your placenta.
Yeah.
So that's another one I've got on here, that actually you give birth twice technically.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So how does that, because obviously people talk about the placenta and stuff and people like eating it and that. It's weird. Actually, I read something and there's no actual scientific reason, like nutrition.
Yeah.
And sometimes actually it can contain bacteria that can make you ill. So
I think it can it's a cultural thing as well though, isn't it? Some cultures actually it's really important to
very
them.
popular in the US.
Has it?
Yeah,
I know
they
that
get made
some
into
cultures
tablets.
like in like Southern America and stuff, like some cultures actually it's a really important kind of ritual
More symbolic
thing.
than
Yeah.
from
It's
a
like ritually.
health perspective.
Yeah.
So in terms of giving birth to the placenta, do you have to push? Because I've got in my head it's just like a slimy sack that just kind of like slips out.
It's a canny big slimy sack.
Yeah, it's meant to be like very similar to the size of your baby, isn't it?
So it's
like the weight.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's quite heavy. It's about that big.
And that's solid. Is that
Like a
solid?
sack?
Or is that
No, it's
empty?
like a slimy sack.
Were you like, no?
I didn't.
It's like
see
a
any
slimy
of
sack.
that.
So you get an option of having an injection now that helps the placenta or birth the placenta. What it does is the injection actually contracts your womb. I'm going to be scientific now, but your placenta is attached to your womb like this. So if you're watching on YouTube, you know what I'm doing. If you're not, then you're missing out.
You should be.
Yeah. So your placenta is attached like this. Sorry to any midwives if I get this wrong. I was a nurse, so there you go.
Come for her.
And what happens is your womb is obviously stretched. So naturally your womb is supposed to contract slowly, and your placenta comes away. But obviously there's loads of vessels that are open, blood vessels and things. So if the placenta comes away and your womb hasn't contracted to close them vessels, you can bleed out. and you can bleed quite a lot. So just as a safety precaution, now everybody gets offered an injection that will contract your womb quite quickly. So your placenta comes out within a few minutes or so. Because sometimes it can take hours. Some people don't want it. Some people want things to happen naturally. But some people get that offered. Did you get the injection?
I don't know. I can't remember.
People don't actually know about this a lot because it's after they've given birth. They're too busy staring at the child, and the midwife asks you a million questions, and you go, whatever, and they just do what they think's best at the time. So, whereas if you're stretched like this and your placenta comes away, all this is open. It's the action of that contracting back that closes all the vessels.
So do you get contractions with the placenta? Is it the same as
contractions? You've
got to go like and then push it out?
I don't think it's quite as breathy in that.
Yeah, I can't remember it being as...
It's more like you'll still feel contractions and then it'll come out. You don't have to actively concentrate on doing anything. It'll just do it itself, essentially. I think by that point, everyone's got a child. Most of the time, you're kind of focused on a baby, so you're not even thinking about it. You don't. That's what one of the things people have said is when the baby arrives, it's like every bit of pain, every bit of everything they've just gone through just disappears. It's the maddest feeling. Is that fair to say? Mm-hmm.
I don't think you forget though. Loads of people said to me, "Oh, you'll forget about the pain. You'll forget about." I don't know how anybody could forget that pain. I don't think you forget it, but still people do it again. But I do remember because there's such a small age gap between me second and me third. There's just over a year, and I remember sitting in the hospital with me third having contractions and thinking, why am I here again? How has this happened again? And I had the exact same midwife I had with me second. And she came in, she was like, oh, you said you weren't going to have any more. I was like, I know.
Now's not the time.
I don't need reminding now.
Oh, God. I had a few birth stories and a few people sent theirs in, which was nice to hear. What was nice to hear, I guess I'm not going to read them all out, but what was nice to hear was everybody's experience was really different. And some of them were messaging saying they had a really positive induction and that they don't hear them stories very often and they were scared of that. Or somebody else had a really positive C-section experience. Somebody else, I thought this was brilliant, and I've heard a few of these. Basically, she thought the midwife was going to be the only person that came in the room, and then some fit doctor walked in. So she was just saying how she was like, it shouldn't have mattered at the time, but it really did. And then they had to turn her on all fours. And she was like, this guy now has seen my vajay and my a-hole. Yeah. And I'm just here completely naked with everything out. And he's there just at the other end, just like, why is this happening to us?
Ready to catch me, baby.
Not what you need, is it? Like, not what you need. Some fit guy to come in at that point in time. Let's go through some didn't expects.
Okay.
So what did you not expect, or what would you not expect during birth and labour? Anything that you can think of? I'll read some out.
Yeah.
Yeah? First one, I didn't expect to moo like a cow. Did you moo like a cow?
No, I went like silent.
I went silent for the first 24 hours. I was hypnobirthing for the first 24 hours. And then something in us just was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, oh no, she checked us and I was only 5 centimetres. And I'd been going for like 24 hours. And I was like, nah, I'm done. So I was in this zone for so long. And then I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And then it was just like, help me. After then, it was like, help me. And then when it got to a point, she was facing the wrong way. So I actually was bearing down as if I needed to push. So at that point, every contraction was as if she needed to push. So they thought I was like ready to push. And they were like, just go with what your body wants. Da, da, da. And I was mooing. And there's a few people I've heard do this, like a deep moo, like a cow.
Like an actual moo.
I'm going to do it.
Go on, do it.
That's going to be really awkward to listen to, isn't it?
I think that should be the snippet for the trailer. Yeah.
Or like, it's like a moo, like a grunty moo. Like you can't help it. There's a few people that I've spoken to that they say they cannot help it. They're not making the sound for any other reason, but when you have the contraction, it comes out. It's really bizarre.
I remember just thinking I'm going to like burst a blood vessel or something because I wasn't making a noise.
Were you holding your breath?
I was sort of, but still like pushing but holding my breath. And I was thinking my face must be absolutely
when you were pushing
red.
was this?
Yeah.
Right, I didn't get that point.
I kept thinking that I was going to like burst like a blood vessel in my head or something.
Because you were pushing that much. Cravings? Didn't expect... This is not me, this is other people as well. Cravings during the labour.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you can obviously eat. Like if it's 38 hours...
Yeah, so like you can't eat.
No.
So this is on the list... Not being able to eat.
If you get an epidural, you're not allowed to eat.
So basically, from the second I walked in the hospital, which was the Friday night, I think it might have been Friday night. I didn't eat for it's like 40 odd hours. You just don't eat anything.
Do they give you like a drip or supplements or something?
No.
So how
the energy?
Are you supposed to keep your energy up?
Yeah, no. This is exactly what I know. You don't realise.
So were you not allowed to eat even if you didn't have an epidural?
So because I was induced.
Oh, right.
And then they'd said by the time my contractions started, basically, again, there's lots of positive induction stories out there. Mine's not one of them. So they induced me and I was almost, my waters had already broke and my contractions had already started. And then they were like, oh, well, your contractions have started, so we're just going to give you the drip anyway because it'll speed things along. At that point, if I can go back, I would have said no because the drip did not agree with me. But I didn't. I said, yeah, if it's going to make it quicker, just do it because this is kind of painful. So they gave us the drip. And at that point, my contractions they were already quite quick. So they didn't necessarily speed up, but they just got a little bit stronger.
Right.
But it was like that every 2 minutes, like contractions every 2 minutes from the very beginning. So I was just absolutely, it wasn't like, oh, I've got 5 minutes, then here's another one. It wasn't slow at all. Like I had started my contractions, they gave us the drip, and it was like that for 38 hours. It's just continuously, like no break. It was until I got the epidural, it was just like continuous.
Just relentless.
I was induced with me second and third, and I can't remember going on a drip. I remember getting the pessaries with both. I had 2 pessaries.
No, the drip is the induction.
Oh, I must have then, because I went in with me second and third to be induced.
The induction is a drip.
But I just remember the pessaries. I can't remember the drip.
Yeah, the pessary is the thing that like widens the cervix.
Oh, right, okay.
I hated the pessary.
Like sounds like fun.
I didn't expect for the pessary to be painful.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So just like a little tablet.
Mm-hmm.
They shove it up.
And I remember...
And I was like, ow. And then the pain starts, but it's like you get contractions just in the end of your vagina.
Yeah. I remember the midwife saying to me, you're going to give birth. Because I was like, oh, that really hurt. And she was like, well, you're going to give birth. And I was like, yes, I've done it before.
It's not my first rodeo.
What a dick.
She wasn't very nice, that one.
So cravings is the one thing that I found interesting. Like, there's a few people said during the birth of the labour, they were just craving specific things.
Oh, I wasn't. No, I didn't do
Did
that.
Gary eat while you were giving birth?
Well, Gary's petrified. Mm-hmm. So he's like, he had to, when I fell pregnant with me first, he got like anxiety tablets because the full pregnancy, labour, hospital, like absolutely terrifies him. Yeah, like really, really bad. So when we were in hospital, he was sort of like up here. Like I couldn't even see him.
Yeah.
And when I was actually pushing, he like held my hand, but the rest of it, he was just silent. Just sat in the corner.
Really?
Yeah, it was really, really bad. And with me first, we had to go, I ended up having to have forceps because Lucas was back to back and he was stuck. And when we were going down to theatre, I remember looking at him and he was white as a sheet.
Aww.
And like I was being like tossed about like a pizza because I had like the top up epidural. So it was like a pizza like thingy in his onto another bed.
Oh, God.
And I remember looking at him and going, are you all right? And there was about 17 people in the theatre and they were like, are you seriously asking if he's all right? I was like, he's going to pass out. Like, he's literally going to pass out. He was white.
Stephen ate the entire basically it's obviously COVID when I had Addy. So we weren't allowed to leave the room. If you left, you weren't allowed to come back in. So, which is slightly different to normal where you can go out and get a pizza or go out and get some fresh air and come back in. So we bought a cool box of food for like 2 or 3 days worth because you never know how long you're going to be there. Turns out I was there a few days. He ate everything inside before like in the first like 18 hours. He ate every single thing in that cool box.
Do you think it was like a nervous?
He said he was nervous eating. He didn't know what to do. He said he didn't quite know what to do, so he was just nervous ate the whole time. He ate the entire thing.
It must be difficult for men and partners in general if their partners are going through, you know, because you're just standing there like a tin of milk half the time.
A lot of people go through trauma.
You're like Jesus, like you're watching this thing and there's nothing you can do. And I mean, if it gets a bit hairy and stuff like. And suddenly loads of people are rushing in the room and you don't really understand what's going on. Like, I do feel for people. Like, I think it's very brave when people offer themselves up as birthing partners because I think I would struggle.
One of the other things I didn't realise, and a few people have agreed on this one, was how good a piece of toast is when you've given birth.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember getting a piece of toast? Yeah. Isn't it like the nicest piece of toast you've ever eaten?
And like a warm drink because you just have water and ice the full time that you're doing it. Like a nice warm drink and a slice of toast.
And a slice of toast. And honestly, you're like, this is the best toast I've ever ate. Like, isn't it?
Do you know what else actually that I didn't expect? I was dreading going for a wee or going to the toilet after. Like, I was absolutely dreading it. And actually, it's not painful. I didn't think it was painful, no. I was like, God, I've just like worried myself sick, like not wanting to go to the toilet all this time, and it was fine.
Another one, people didn't expect to be so high of all the drugs. You don't realise what you do get kind of high.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, I think that's the least you deserve, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Try and have a good time if you can. You are, you know, contributing to the repopulation of the world, so get your rocks off at the same time. Gives a bit more of that gas in air.
People didn't expect to push twice, as in the placenta.
Yeah.
People didn't expect or know what a mucus plug was.
So I've read about, when I was researching myths, there's something about the mucus plug, and I was wondering whether to bring it up or not because it sounds disgusting.
Right, come on then.
What is it? It's like the thing that protects the baby from bacteria, and it's essentially a plug made of mucus that like sits in your body.
I don't actually really know what it is. I've never seen mine.
I didn't see mine, but I think some people, if your waters break, then you can get your mucus plug can come first, and it can sometimes come a few, like, however long before. So it's just like when the baby drops that little bit more and is ready to come, like your mucus plug comes out. It's like mucus.
I've just literally got a vision of like, you know, like just a normal sink plug, but like made of like snot.
Oh, no.
Just
I'm
coming
sure that's probably what it like looks like. Yeah. That's nothing compared to giving birth, man. Like, what else comes out? I didn't expect for my waters to be warm.
Oh.
Like, my waters were a good 30 degrees.
I didn't expect
don't know what temperature they were. But no, I didn't. I mean, I knew I had a few complications, and I had too many waters.
You had lots of waters.
Yeah, I had lots of waters
everywhere.
Waters everywhere. So it was like going off the bed and everything, and everyone was like, "Oh goodness!" I was like, "What?"
Could have been just deflating.
I was literally like, but what was mad was it was like a warm bath.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's gonna get cold in there without all that water. Like, to be freezing after this because she's been in that water. This water, it was really warm.
Yeah.
Like really warm water. Did you remember that?
Yeah. My waters my waters broke twice with my second and my third. So they broke like at the start where it was just contracting and stuff. But then as I got the urge to push, they went again. But it was like the loudest pop and then just felt like I'd weighed myself, and I was just like, what was, like, with me second, I was like, what was that? Because that didn't happen with Lucas.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's just your waters again, they've just popped again. And I was just like, how can it happen again? It's already big, they've done
There's
it before.
like a bottom part of your waters and the top part of your waters, I think. It
I
can...
have no idea, but yeah, the noise, I was just like, it sounded like a bone break, and I was like, what was that?
But it's your own body, and you're like, what was that? Something's happening to me. Two more. A gooey baby.
Oh yeah,
people didn't expect that. I mean, that's because that's the films. The films are to blame for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Addie came out, and it's like, how do you explain like what the stuff is on them?
The white, I don't know. I don't know what it's. I can't compare.
It's basically like white wax.
I always think it looks like they've got a yeast infection.
Oh, look it, baby. Yeah, but it's actually like it's amazing what it does. It like keeps the skin hydrated, and if we could bottle it, imagine.
Yeah, it helps regulate their body temperature and stuff.
Yeah, it
doesn't
does all sorts. So people didn't expect the baby to be so gooey. I mean, when they put her on me, I was a bit like, oh, hi, baby.
Lovely, lovely.
No, I didn't really. I cuddled her. But I kind of expected it, I think. So, and the one last one that we'll talk about, farting or pooing.
Well, I thought I would have, because I was really constipated. But Gary was like, you didn't. And he was like, I feel like if you did, I would have at least smelt it.
There's so many poo stories with labour. Like so many. So many. Like my friend basically told me that she had a water birth. And there was a fish, the midwife's there with a fishing net. Stop. I'm not even joking. She's there with a fishing net, fishing her poo out as she pooed.
No. Oh no. My friend thought she'd pooed, and she says, I thought I'd pooed, and I was like, I think I've just pooed. And she says it wasn't, it was a pile.
No way.
Yeah, and that's what she felt.
Oh, it's gruesome.
What, like
isn't
a pile
popping out.
People say that birth is beautiful. I think the lion, but equally, like,
Did you? Yeah.
If you poo when you're pregnant, when you're having a baby, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no.
Like
it's literally, that's
your
the
whole
thing.
body is contracting. Stuff is going to come out from
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
Like,
It's not a big
poo
deal.
shame. Don't poo shame people.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
And I actually feel like if I did, and if I
Did you
knew
feel
I
like you were
did, when my contractions were starting, I just thought, I think I need the toilet. Mm-hmm. That was my first thing. I think I might need the toilet, and then I was like, no, I don't think I need the toilet. I think this is actually my contractions starting. But I didn't feel like I was going to while I was
pushing or anything.
Yeah, no.
Because apparently it's a sign. They'll say if you feel like you need a poo, it's a sign that you need to push.
Oh.
That feeling of for me, the feeling of needing to push, it was like I didn't even have an option. It was just like your body needs to push. Like you need to push this baby out.
Yeah.
And then when you know what it feels like, and you know that ring of fire, you're like, no, I don't want to push. I don't want to push. But your body's like, you have to push.
Yeah, that happened to me, but she was stuck. So I was like, what's happening? Like, and I was like, I think I'm gonna poo. I was like really upset about it, like really upset. And then she was like, you're all right, you're all right. I wanted to stand up and things, like I wanted to be stood up, but eventually they were like, you need to sit down, and the drugs did not agree with me. So it didn't kind of go so well. What about the I think it's important to mention the expectation of when you meet your baby.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, but everything's grand when you meet them. Some people don't get that, and I think it's much more common with your second especially, and people feel guilty or they struggle to bond because when the baby comes out and you don't get that instant immediate kind of rush of love or whatever it is that kind of people feel, some people don't get that, and again, that's okay. I think there's people who I know who I've chatted to who've said they really expected with their second baby for it to be similar to the first, and it really just wasn't. And the baby came out and they were like, oh, hi, like it's not the same. Oh my God, I'm a mother as the first. Did you find that?
Well, I didn't cry, and with all three of them, I didn't cry, and part of us was like, oh God, why didn't I cry? Like I cry at other people giving birth. Why did I not cry when my baby came into the world?
You're overwhelmed.
It is. It's just massive. And both with me first and me second, it was so different, because me first I had to be rushed down. I had forceps. It was really just like, and I couldn't even hold him properly because I had the top up epidural where I was like numb. Neck down, so they put him on us for a bit, but then took him away, and I didn't get a hold of him for like ages after. I remember just lying looking at Gary with him. Well, with me second, I got that feeling, but I can't remember feeling any different between me first, me second, and me third.
Yeah, some people do, some people don't. I think I do think it's important to mention that everybody's different with it. Like expectations of that are really different, and like everybody deals with it differently. So
I think it'll probably depend on what you've been through before that, I think.
Yeah. I
think just give it time as well. I mean, I'm speaking from no experience, but like in terms of like mental health and stuff, like your body's gone through a massive shift. And if you've had a particularly traumatic pregnancy and birth and stuff like that, like, you know, give yourself a bit of time. Like, it doesn't have to be all rainbows and roses. Like, as soon as the baby's out, before the cord's even cut, like, give yourself some time to adjust and seek help if you need to as well. Like, I think that's really important, because postnatal depression's very real. Very real.
Absolutely. Is there any, I guess, questions, Hannah, from you, or anything that you think?
Well, I've got some myths.
Come on then.
That I want busting. Some of them are mad, absolutely mad as toast, but some of them are kind of interesting. So some of them, I will ask you the questions because you may not have the answer.
Okay.
So do more women go into labour during a full moon?
Yes. This is a myth bust, isn't it? Do you know the answer?
Yeah, I know the
All
answer.
right, I'm going to say yes.
No.
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 Oh, right.
I just thought it was really interesting because, like, bodies are like
synced
your
with
menstrual
all of that.
cycle and things like that. Like, is it a bit more? But apparently, there's no. I feel like it was a bit of a shit one. I
quite like that one. I like it.
This one, does your water break as dramatically as on telly?
No.
So it doesn't just.
No.
No.
Sometimes it's a trickle. Sometimes they're doing it for you. That's what happened to me.
Yeah,
sometimes, I mean, if mine had been on telly, it would have been dramatic just because it was like an ocean. But otherwise, it's not like, oh my God, my water's broke. Get me to the hospital right now. It's like, honey, you've got 38 hours yet.
Yeah.
Take your time. You're all right.
Yeah.
Your grand, they won't even let you in yet. How many, it's a bit like water's break, go to the hospital. But sometimes they're even like, all right, just sit in the waiting room for 10 minutes.
Yeah. I think because I was induced with 2 of mine as well. Like, it just wasn't that of being like somewhere like in a shop or like, do you know what I mean, where it happened. With me third, I was on the toilet having a wee and it just wouldn't stop, and I was like, is this a wee? Is this me water's breaking? Like, I couldn't work out.
Where's it coming out of?
Yeah, I couldn't work out what was going on, and I was in by myself as well because it was like really late at night, and I was already like 3 hours into it, like with my contractions, and the midwife came and I says, I think my waters have just broke. She went, what do you mean you think? I went, well, I thought I needed a wee and I was on the toilet, but then I couldn't stop having a wee. She went, oh, right, yeah, you might want to phone your husband now and get him in. I was like, right, okay.
It's go time. Yeah. Speaking of inducing, did you try anything? Were you over your due date or?
When we first
under?
I know it's different for everybody.
But I had complications, so they needed to bring her early.
Mm-hmm. Were you
with me first? I was 12 days overdue.
Mm-hmm. Did you try anything like castor oil or spicy food or?
I know somebody.
Nipple stimulation, apparently.
No way.
Apparently.
Everything bar sex, because Gary was like, no.
Gary, do your bit.
But like, he's terrified of that full process anyways. Like, he's never felt any of his babies kick when like, he would never touch me tummy or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, no, he's no, it's not his thing. But I tried everything you could possibly think of.
So I know someone who tried everything, spicy curries, this, that, the other, and then eventually ate a ghost chili, and that worked.
Jesus. Maybe shot out the other end.
She was like, I can't do this anymore, and she ate a ghost chili.
Oh my God.
Well, apparently none of those things are proven to help.
No way.
Sex is the only thing that may help, but again, that's not scientifically proven, because sperm has something called progestaglandin, which softens the cervix to
Progesterone is similar to what you get in the
inducing. That's in the pessaries.
Yeah.
Done my research. Heartburn predicts your baby's head of hair.
True.
Did you have heartburn?
True. I had heartburn with all three. Mine all had loads of hair.
Really?
Yeah.
I had heartburn with Aline. She had loads of hair.
And it's the only time I've ever had heartburn.
It's the only time I've ever. In fact, if I ever have heartburn again, I'll be like, shit, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Because I honestly would, because I've never had it in my life until I was pregnant. And then I was like, what is this hideous thing?
Horrible.
I was like, this is not nice. Then I did not like the heartburn side of things.
Yeah, neither did I. It was horrible. I'm glad I don't get it. I'm glad that is the only time that I
Yeah, same, because I could not deal with that.
No. I get heartburn from like Greg's pasties.
Yeah. Oh, I fancy a Greg's pasty now.
Here's a mad one that's like...
Not sponsored by Greg's.
Not sponsored by Greg's. I wish we were sponsored by Greg's. Yeah. Some of these are really odd, but I'm just going to read them out. And obviously cultural and things, but like just strange. Avoid stepping over ropes and electrical cords, or you could end up with is it nuchal cord? Where the umbilical cord is wrapped around the baby's throat. Okay. So don't step over any cords.
Like a superstition?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Isn't that bonkers? Imagine being in this room right now and being pregnant.
Oh my God.
Jesus, you need to carry it out. This one's odd. If a woman's hair is cut during pregnancy, the baby could develop vision problems.
That's very strange.
That's a superstition. If you want to get your fucking haircut, get your haircut. Yeah. That's absolutely mental.
Superstition.
I blame the patriarchy. Just putting it out there.
I would mentioned at some point in the podcast.
Yeah.
These two were really weird. They're really weird. Right. So if a pregnant woman looks at an unpleasant or ugly animal, the baby will take on a resemblance of the animal.
Oh my God.
Where did you find these?
These can't be true.
That's mad.
Just on the
How could
internet.
that happen?
Isn't that really weird? Imagine that. Be like, I can't go to any zoos, any farms. Don't put the telly on.
I know.
Like,
imagine if you had a pug.
If you had
sorry to any pug.
I know, yeah.
Like,
wow.
I love pugs. They're really cute. But you don't want your child to resemble a pug, do you?
I mean, ideally not.
No.
You don't really want it to resemble any kind of dog, really,
no,
do
you don't.
Not any animal.
Do people know when their babies are ugly?
I wonder
this as well.
I'm very lucky that most of the people that I know have had children, their babies are cute, and they're, you know what I mean. I don't have to lie, but there's the odd ones that come out looking like Benjamin Button, and you think.
See, I just think any baby that's literally just been born isn't you don't look at them and think
they're all a bit granddaddy, aren't they?
Just like raisins covered in like plasma and that.
Yeah. But say you do look at your own and think gorgeous.
Yeah, because you made it. Yeah. You probably think that about your own paintings and stuff and all, and they're shite.
I'm very good at paintings, Anna.
You are actually. But like if I did it, I'd be like, that's amazing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But it is, I don't know if people are aware. Probably not,
Yeah.
DM in if you have had an ugly baby by baby beauty standards. I'm joking. All babies are lovely. All babies matter. So, the next one, and this is the last one, an old wives' tale from China. Excessive rubbing of your tummy will spoil your baby. So they're not allowed to rub their tummy.
Ridiculous.
You say people like rubbing, yeah. But actually, from about 10 weeks, your baby responds to external touch from and kicking and stuff like that. So you should probably do it, to be honest.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I read when I was in the labour stage that the sounds that your baby can hear, like it's about the same kind of noise because of the water and everything else. It sounds like as loud as a Hoover all the time. So and basically because you're moving around during the day, baby normally sleeps during the day because you're kind of rocking them to sleep, and then they wake up during the night because it's silent and you're still, and they're a bit like, time to wake up. So that's why you get no sleep, because they kick all night long and then they're asleep all day when you're pregnant. Does that happen to you or not?
No, I don't think so.
Every time our H woke up, that's not surprising now.
Yeah.
She loves that food.
Oh, when I was in the bath, every time I went in the bath,
I couldn't fit in the bath, Jessica. I couldn't. I definitely couldn't fit in the bath.
You would have just floated.
No, I wouldn't have fitted.
Oh, like
fitted, like width-wise. I wouldn't have fitted and then got back out because my bump was so huge.
My bump used to just stick over the water. So like my bump would always be freezing. Like if I was lying in the bath, the top
I think
of
I'd
tummy would be freezing.
I'd need about this much water in, and then by the time I got in, it would be like up here.
Displacement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my mum when she was pregnant with Grace, is my younger sister, and she used to go in the bath, and I was about 8 at the time, and I used to go in and she'd pour water over.
Yeah,
Grace
I did
would
that
do
as
it.
well.
I would have like a face cloth and I'd just put it in the water
I
and
did
then
that
put
as
it
well.
on my bum.
To warm it up. Yeah, she used to
in
do
the
that
early
as well.
stages when I could fit in the bath.
You can fit in the bath now.
I can fit in the bath now.
So
In fact, I've got a new bath now because the other one was a bit small anyway for bathing children. It was just a really small bath. So I changed it.
But mine, especially Kobe, who's my third, I used to see my stomach move all the time with him, like really, really move. And in the bath, it was just all the time. And you just see like something sticking out this side. My bum would be like a really weird shape, and I'd be like, "What is going on?"
Do you ever have phantom kicks?
No, I don't think so.
So I didn't know it was a thing until I was pregnant with Adeline. One of my friends says, "Oh, I sometimes get phantom kicks." I was like, "What? What's that?" It's like where you feel a phantom kick so many like years or weeks or whatever it is after you've given birth. Mm-hmm. I've never had it before in my life until last week.
Really?
I had a phantom kick, yeah. It's the weirdest
it's just
thing.
like your food digestion.
Well, I thought it was, but you know the difference between your food and a kick, don't you, when it happens? It's very different.
Yeah.
And so I was a bit like, last week, I think I just had a phantom kick. It was the weirdest thing because it feels like the kicking. Really strange.
Weird.
Yeah, so phantom kicks were a thing.
It's really weird. When you, I've just thought of another question. When you give birth, your bump doesn't immediately go down.
No, very good point. Your bump doesn't go down at all.
It doesn't
it barely goes down at all, in fact. In fact, what I would say is, for me, it was slightly different because when my waters went, I was like, wow, I've got my stomach back. My baby was still inside because I had that much water. It went from massive to like a kind of average size. And I was like, oh my God, it's so much smaller. And I felt like I could breathe. I felt more comfortable. I felt more, it's mad. Yeah. But
I think I thought that my stomach would have went back down because the clothes that I took to come home in and from the hospital was like quite tight clothes. And I was like, why did I bring this to come out of hospital? Like, I just felt awful. I was like, why didn't I just wear one of me baggy stuff that I had before?
Yeah, I brought like pajamas to leave in pretty much. In fact, I brought a maternity jumpsuit, like a jogger's set to leave in. Yeah. Because I was like, I knew. But mine this bounce back stuff's a joke.
Yeah. I don't know how some people do it. I don't know how. It's got to be just like,
it's genetics it's different
and stuff.
Things.
Like some people,
time,
think,
money, at-home gym. Like there's a lot. Like when you say celebrities and stuff, it's
a lot.
It's part of their job, isn't it, to look a certain way?
I definitely found it easier losing weight after me first. And I don't know whether it was because I was younger or because I had more time to do stuff or what. Plus I was getting married the year after actually, so that's probably why. But like losing the weight after, well, I didn't have time to lose it after my second because then I was pregnant again. So like after me third, like that was, I still haven't lost the baby weight. But it bothers us time to time, and then other times I'm just like, oh, what will be, will be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do. I mean, for me, I remember getting some pictures because I didn't get any, because it was COVID. There was nobody even felt I'd kicked. Like nobody even touched my belly. I didn't see my friends. Like nobody really. I had my pregnancy very much away from the world. I know I saw some of you guys because we worked a bit, but. You know, when you go out and you've got pictures with your friends and you've got a bump, and I didn't have any pictures. So I got to about 7 or 8 months pregnant. Anybody who's had a COVID baby will feel me here. And I was like, I've got no pictures of me pregnant. I've got none. I don't have any pictures of me pregnant. Like when she gets older, I'm not going to be able to show her photos of me pregnant. So I got some taken. And I remember looking back at them. Thankfully, I've got like a family of photographers and that. So I remember looking back and being like, wow, I look massive and I love it. And I remember thinking, I have a whole new appreciation for my body. Like in the past, my body was about how do I look and how do I this and and then all of a sudden it was like, wow, you can create a human being with your body. That's what it's for. And it just felt like a bit of a light bulb moment for me, thinking, wow, that's really impressive. And I'm going to appreciate, I felt like apologizing to myself. I felt like actually apologizing to my body and saying, I'm really sorry for how I've treated you over the years, because look what you've done.
Yeah.
Like, look what you've done, and I'm really proud of you. It was just like a whole light bulb moment for me. So
yeah.
That was quite deep, that wasn't it?
It was deep, yeah.
It got quite deep. Have you got any more myths for us?
Nah, that was all of them. Some were better than others, I think.
Just one or two more things that you might not know, I guess, or not be aware of. Some people might not know that they're in labour. Some people don't know they're in labour.
Yeah, some people don't even know they're pregnant.
I don't understand.
They go to the toilet and then there's a baby.
Situations.
Oh, yeah.
It scares me every time.
Every time you go through.
Imagine if I come out of the toilet and I'm like, guys, don't know where this has come from, and I don't know whose it is. No, I'm joking.
Because you not know.
I know.
Oh God, amazing. Yeah, people don't realise they're in labour, and then they're like, oh, I didn't realise, and then I thought it was a twinge, so I thought this isn't labour because otherwise it would hurt more. I'm like, right, this is mad because it hurts.
People think that is it Braxton Hicks?
Yeah.
Like some people think, oh, it's just Braxton Hicks. I'm like,
no, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you know.
Shake uncontrollably. Did you shake uncontrollably?
Well,
in the last stages of labour,
no,
when your hormones drop and stuff. Yeah, or anaesthetic and stuff.
Oh, I think I did afterwards. I remember when they put Lucas on, my full body was shaking.
Yeah.
But I think
it's like adrenaline and stuff, isn't it? You might. Did you vomit? Might vomit.
No, I didn't. I think
some people can vomit just because they're giving birth, not anything to do with any drugs.
Oh God, it's coming out everywhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, carried away. God, what do you do? It's a good job you're high, isn't it? Really, because otherwise you'd be like, that'd be a nightmare if you were being sick, shitting yourself, and having a baby at the same time.
And getting injections.
The miracle of life, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, interesting one we'll end on. Waxing before the labour.
Yeah, I went and got waxed before.
So it's like a thing.
Yeah.
People go and get a full wax before you give birth, which now, having done it, I'm like, what an absolute joke that was. Why I thought that was going to make any bit of difference to my dignity, I do not know. Because when you're screaming and mooing like a cow on all fours pretty much, nobody really cares whether you've been waxed or not. Like,
no, I don't think anybody else cares. I think it was more like, for me, I was just like, I'm just going to...
Is it not a preparation thing? That would be for me, especially because I get waxed anyway.
Yeah, but actually, they say don't go and get waxed because you can introduce an infection.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Well, if the mucus plug's not doing its job, you will.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go and get a wax so that the hospital are well presented with Mama
I went
J.
and got my nails done and everything. Before me first, I went for a manicure and pedicure.
You didn't?
And then I got in the hospital and they were like, you need to take that off. You need to take all your nail varnish off. I was like, I've just had it done.
Yeah. I mean, some people have lashes and a full face of makeup and that, don't they?
Yeah, I think
whatever makes you comfortable. Whatever, if you feel like that's your war paint.
Yeah.
And you're putting that on. Oh, my voice went really husky there. What a war paint. And you feel like that's going to get you through it.
Go for it.
Do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
But,
I just remember taking 2 bubbles and thinking, I'm going to put my hair in a scalp plait. If stuff gets really tough and I can't shove my hair in a bubble on the top of my head, that's the last thing I want is my hair in the way. So I'm just going to scalp plait my hair. Yeah. So I took me 2 bubbles at the ready and
I didn't take anything.
I didn't need them in the end. Did you not?
No, I didn't even think about it. And when you're packing your stuff for your baby and that, and everybody's like, you need this, 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 and this. All 3, I forgot a hat for the babies.
Did you?
All 3. I was like, how have I done it 3 times? And I've got this photo of Kobe and he's like, got a blanket around his fist like this, and he's got this horrible brown coloured knitted hat on, and he just looks fuming, and he's like not even a day old, and I'm like, oh God. But they tell you to pack all sorts, don't they?
Yeah. So I was going to end on that actually. What was the one thing you were pleased you packed?
Big knickers.
Really?
Yeah. Big, comfortable knickers.
So I packed a fan.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because it is warm
Yeah,
in
it
the
is. It's
summer
hot.
in the hospital.
Yeah.
So we packed a fan, and honestly, I was like, thank the Lord. That was, definitely something I was pleased about packing. What else did I pack that I was like really over the moon with? We packed ice.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. We packed a bag of ice because it's really warm, and all you want sometimes when you're giving birth is an icy cold drink.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Feeling of just
I
nice
craved ice as well.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
my crave. And well, it must have been when I was giving birth as well, actually. But it was like throughout my pregnancy and that. So I didn't even think about taking ice, though, to be fair.
Oh well, there we go.
There you go. Big knickers, a fan, and some ice.
Sorted.
If
you take anything, big knickers is the thing, though.
Keep it all in.
Although sometimes you don't even get a chance to wear knickers, just in nappies.
Yeah.
Maternity,
I just had the biggest pads. Oh, probably about this long.
They're massive.
Like the maternity ones, and they were about that thick.
There's maternity nappies you can get, and they gave me one afterwards. I don't know why I got one, but they gave me one of them, and they're like pull-ups. They're like big adult pull-ups.
Like, yeah, you need that stuff after.
And is that
for days?
And just where you saw?
No,
it's because you're bleeding massively. Oh. Did you actually just?
He's me like I could use some of them for the weekend when I'm just sitting watching Netflix.
So you can wait.
Don't even have to get up to the toilet. I'll just sit there in my own defecation.
Oh my god!
All right, okay, so that makes a lot more sense, to be honest.
No, it's because you're bleeding really heavily.
Everything's.
Did you hear people screaming?
That was me screaming, hon.
Oh, see, I didn't scream. I was silent.
I
Gary
didn't
said
scream.
It was actually really scary how quiet I was throughout the full thing. Because I didn't open my eyes. I kept them closed the full time.
I didn't move. I was like, my head was down like this the whole time, and I was in a zone for about the first 24 hours. And the midwife, everyone was really quiet. She kept talking. Are you all right there? Are you this? And I was like, And I had like a thing with essential oils and stuff, and I was like, yeah. And I was a bit like, do not interrupt my zone because I'm in it.
That's what I was
and I'm getting through each contraction, and then I would breathe through it, and then I would be like, right, okay, breath. Like, honestly, someone could have came in and said it's been 7 days, and I had no idea how long it had been.
Time, yeah.
No idea how long it had been. Like, your mind just goes into a weird space.
Yeah.
It could have been 2 hours, it could have been 1, it could have been 5, it could have been 20. I had no clue. It was when I think someone told us, and I wish they hadn't, you're 5 centimetres, and I said, how long has it been? And that's when she looked and she was like, oh, don't worry. And I was like, how long has it been? And I wished I'd just not said, but she did. And that's when I was like, are you joking me? I can't do this anymore. So that's when I was like, nah, get help.
I do think everybody at one point, it gets to a certain point and you think, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
Like you just totally doubt yourself. You're like, what's going to happen because I can't do this anymore? And I've done that with all 3 of mine.
Yeah. She said to me, are you sure you want the epidural? And I went, yeah, this is not fun anymore. That's what I said. This is not, and at which point she slightly giggled and she went, okay. And I was like, just get it quickly, where is he? And she went, it'll be half an hour. I went, half an hour? I said, no, I can't do this anymore now. I've took it to the nth degree. Yeah, I know, it was bad. But anyway, that was fun.
Well, I think...
Are you prepared if you ever have a birthing partner or you ever
if I lose my mind and decide that I want to have a baby? No, I'm not prepared, but I think it'll be funny.
Not be funny.
I think me and Labour would be funny.
Can I be your birthing partner?
Yeah, you can all be my birthing partner. I'll just I might live stream it.
Yes, just like the mouse.
Like the mice. Shout out. Oh, I wonder where they are.
I know.
They were my babies.
Yeah.
I just think it's... Yeah, I just think yous are amazing for giving birth and having babies and helping to repopulate the earth.
That's what we're
doing.
So well done,
yous.
Repopulating the earth.
Yous are doing it, so I don't have to.
It's been interesting. Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. We are going to start ending on a little segment called Would You Rather? Would you rather your water break dramatically during an unexpected run-in with your ex, or discover your ex and their partner are in labour in the delivery room next to yours?
Oh God.
Probably is the water one.
The first one.
Yeah.
What, you'd rather your water break in front of them?
Yeah. Because then your
Then
child
it
is
would
going to
be
have the same
over.
birthday as your ex's child. It's like...
Well, it's just a longer period of time, isn't it? And every time, like, they go out for coffee or whatever, like, you might bump into them, or they might pop their head in and say hello, like on Friends.
Pop their head in.
You know, on Friends
God,
when
Rachel's
and Janice is there, and she's like,
yes.
yeah, like that would be the worst. Like, so, whereas the water breaking reminds us of Charlotte and Mr. Big in Second City.
It does. That's what I thought of first as well.
So you'd rather just actually, it's a good excuse to say, sorry, I have to go, isn't it?
So
Sorry, my water's
something's
broke.
come up.
See you later, bye.
Yeah, I hope I got it on your shoes, you prick.
Marvellous. Thank you both for joining. This has been wonderful. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's Just Another Group Chat podcast. We have got some really, really cool guests coming up in the next few weeks. So stay tuned, and we will see you next week on Just Another Group Chat.